Welcome to the fourth episode of GTV Radio. My name is Zachy again, and today I'm joined by Isaac. Say hi, Isaac.
Hello.
And we're also joined with our principal, Mrs. DeMeyer. So say hi.
Good morning. Hello.
I think you gotta move the mic closer to your mouth. Yeah.
All right.
And
Got
put
it.
on.
Better?
Yeah. Hold up. Tap it. Okay. Yeah, that should work. Yeah, and we're here with her today after a bit of a long time coming, trying to contact her for this episode, but it's an episode. And we have some questions for her that were written by Raymond. And yeah, guys, sorry about the last episode where it was just 6 minutes of me talking about Fortnite, but you gotta do what you gotta do, and now we have a full episode. So, Mr. Meyer, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I have been in education for 29 years. I started out as a teacher in the South Bend district, moved over to Elkhart for a while, and then came to Goshen in 2006. I have two adult children, a son that will be 27 next week and a daughter that's 29. And I have a 4.5-year-old granddaughter.
That's all great. For people who don't know, what is your job?
So I am the principal of the high school, which means I technically oversee all aspects of the school. And then there are 4 assistant principals that help me do that job.
That's great. You're all powerful. How do you manage being a principal and having a life at home?
I don't manage that very well. I mostly work, and that's not a healthy thing. That's just my personality. I initially went to school to be a principal back in about 2006 and 7, and my kids were headed into high school, and they both happened to be in a couple of sports apiece, and so I put it on hold. And then when my son went off to college and I realized I suddenly didn't know what to do with my evenings, I jumped into administration and I stay busy going to events with all of the students.
Uh-huh. Let's see. Here, Isaac, you ask the next one.
What are some short-term or long-term goals that you have?
I love that question. I always have 10-year long-term goals in mind. And then, of course, short-term. And I think the short-term kind of fall together as I move through life and opportunities come my way. But right now, I would say my 10-year goal would be, and I'll go ahead and tell you guys my age. I'm 52. In 10 years, I would hope to be slowing down a little bit, but still working. My granddaughter will be in high school, and I want to be able to go to all of her events. But still be working. I don't see myself as ever being one of those people that's retired and home.
That's the key. You gotta have little short term goals in order to get to long term goals, like passing geometry.
And short-term goals, I would say, include seeing our school continue to move forward in dual credit opportunities for students. I want to see more students earn the ICC, which is a core group of 30 credits that you can earn and then take with you to any state school here within the state of Indiana. And they transfer as real credit, and also increase the number of students who can earn an associate's degree with us, as well as growing our pathways for students that want to immediately go into a trade.
It's not on here, but this year they just launched the Red Hawk University, right?
Right.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so Red Hawk University is simply the opportunity to take college credits at Goshen High School for free. So our primary partner is Ivy Tech, but what the state legislator did to help us out with Ivy Tech is pass a law that says all state colleges and universities in Indiana must accept Ivy Tech credit. So it's no longer that Ivy Tech credit might just be an elective, but rather if you take an English class with Ivy Tech, English transfers as an English credit when you go off to IU, Purdue, for example, any of the state schools. We're also working on coming up with a list. Some of the private schools are beginning to accept that credit as direct credit as well because they're seeing the advantage. So we do have over 700 credits that are assigned to students at the moment where students are working on those. We're really excited about that burst. We're also looking at tying dual credit to some of our pathway courses so that if a student wants to earn college credit, they can. Certainly you don't have to, but if you'd like to, you've earned those for free. You've saved yourself and your parents some money, and then you really could leave here with an associate's degree, 2 years worth of college, and only have 2 more to pay for.
That's especially helpful now in this like economic climate where everyone's broke and everything's expensive.
I agree. Groceries are outrageous right now. And I think what hit me was a couple years ago, I had a student stop by my office. He wasn't in trouble or anything like that. I actually don't remember why I needed to talk to him. I called him down and we had our conversation. It was good. And then as he was leaving, he just, there was just something about his personality that really drew me to like the potential he had for the future. And I asked him, what do you want to do? And he said, well, I need to just go work. And I asked him, are you interested in taking some classes? I certainly don't think everyone needs to do a 4-year degree. My family is mixed with about half and half people who've gone to college, half that haven't. My own children, one did, one didn't. So I don't have particular feelings about that. But I was curious if he was going to go. And he said, no, I can't ask my parents to pay for that. It's too much money. I want to, but I can't ask them to do that. And that has just weighed on me ever since then. Like, how many students do we have that feel that responsibility that they don't want to burden their parents with the cost of college? And why aren't we bringing that in here and helping you get free credits? And that was kind of where it all started. And we now have that possibility.
That's great. Let's see. This one's a little bit of a lighter question. I think why don't you go ahead and ask her number 4?
What are some hobbies outside of school you have?
Well, I'm kind of a boring person. I like to read. I enjoy that. I like to do puzzle type games, logic games. I find that relaxing. And then to be honest, I work a lot. I have recently picked up what might be called the start of a new hobby through my dad. He does glass work and like stained glass, and he's been teaching me how to do that. And I find that to be pretty relaxing. So sometimes we'll hang out and we'll do glass for like 8 hours and work on something.
It's great. That's nice that you have a bond with your dad like that. Let's see. What does a typical day for you look like?
Well, it's always planned. It's very well planned and very rarely follows the plan. But I find that exciting too. I kind of like the busyness of it. But typically I'm at work somewhere between 7 and 7:30. A couple mornings a week, I have a 7 a.m. meeting. This morning I came in a little bit later just because I was at one of the basketball games last night. And so I try to budget my time a little bit like that. I would say my day is a mixture of getting in and out of some classrooms, meeting with various people in the building and around the community, and working toward plans for the next school year. So sometimes meeting with groups that can bring opportunities to the high school that we can then share with all of you the following year. Meeting with parents, if parents request that, meeting with students who maybe need a little encouragement to keep going with plugging away at earning that diploma. It can just be, it's a wild variety all the time.
Thank you. Let's see. Here. Number 7, I said.
Can you share some thoughts on creating a health work-life balance for teachers and staff?
So I have not done this very well at all. And in the last probably 9 months, I've taken my health much more seriously. And so when I say that, I include mental health with that as well. And so I do have a regular routine of, the dentist, my family doctor, but I've also included that in that talking to a therapist. And I tell people that because I wish more people would maybe talk about sharing their feelings and thoughts and anxiety with others. I think, particularly after and during COVID, we're seeing more and more people that are just dealing with anxiety on a daily basis, and it can be crippling. And there's help. There are ways to deal with that and get help for that. And so I don't know that it has to be any particular magic mix of a certain amount of time with family or hobbies or alone time, but I do know sleep is incredibly important. Getting some sunlight each day is important. There's science to back that up. One of my favorite things to do is listen and watch a podcast produced by Dr. Andrew Huberman. He comes out of Stanford and he's a specialist in ophthalmology, but he does a lot of brain studies. And so sleep, sunlight, getting the right amount of vitamins, making sure your physical and mental health is straight is huge. I'm working on the physical side of things. 30 years ago, I was a runner. Those days are long gone, but I am working on just walking again, things like that. And then spending time with family, making sure there's a good family balance too.
Okay. Let's see. Number 8. How do you make decisions that impact the school and its community?
Yeah, that can be hard. And to be honest, it can feel lonely at times because, of course, I have people that are over me, people that I answer to. So, like the superintendent and assistant superintendents who see the full picture of what the whole district needs. And then along with them would be the school board. Now, I don't personally answer to the school board, but the superintendent does. And the school board represents the community they are voted for. So I would say anytime we need to make a decision, let's just think about dual credit even. That would be the most recent change we've made where we've drastically increased the dual credit options. That was not made lightly. It was made with research. Research-backed decisions, in my opinion, are always best so that you're not just grasping at straws for things to try, but also made in conjunction with working with the people who, again, are the people I answer to, working with parents and students in the community, so that all of those partners feel like partners in the process, working with the teachers. We have quite a few teachers who have jumped on board in that initiative, again, just as an example. So working with them on, is this something that you feel is best for students? So the driving force for me is what is best for our students, even when maybe students don't necessarily see that for a variety of reasons. I'm an older adult to all of you, but I have to think about your safety, answering to your parents about keeping you safe, knowing that we are preparing you for your future outside of the high school world, which is so much of your life. Such a small part of life is high school. It just feels huge at the moment. And then thinking about the district and finances for the district. Can we afford things that we're trying to do? Because we are also supposed to be good stewards of tax dollars that the community is paying. So putting all of that together, sometimes I do have to make a decision that might not make sense to a group within the whole picture, but for the whole group, it's the right thing to do.
So everything you do is for the bigger picture,
Everything. Yeah. With students first, thinking about students, and what is good for students first.
Mhm. Okay, Isaac, you ask number 9.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I think in 5 years, I'll still be in the Goshen Community School System. I would like to still be the principal of the high school. I also didn't necessarily picture myself here 5 years ago. So I'm always open to growth opportunities and what might come my way and be offered as another opportunity. But right at this moment, I picture myself still doing this job.
Still here at the high school.
Still here. Yeah.
That's great. Number 10. What makes your job worth all the work?
That's a great question. The students. There are just so many things every day that I get to be a part of or know about that I can't necessarily always tell everyone. But helping students, helping families is a huge part of the job. I mean, sometimes in any job you do, don't even take mine, for example, there are always days where you feel like, oh, this is going to be a lot, or I'd rather stay home or whatever. And that was true when in college I worked at McDonald's. That was true in my first teaching job. I mean, it's just true with any job. I hear my son talk about it with his job. But knowing that I've helped students is amazing. And then over the years, there are a few who really stand out, not because they're better than anyone else or more special or a favorite, just maybe some circumstance in their life. I still remember them. And I can think back on that. You know, the longer you do the work, the more of those students you have. So I keep a picture on my office wall of a young man, Marvin Calhoun, that was my student in Elkhart, and he went into the Army, and he tragically died while serving overseas in the Army. And I keep his picture up. He's just one that he sacrificed for our country and for me, and he keeps me going. I look at his picture every single day. Things like that, I think, keep me going.
Here. I think number 11 is.
How do you deal with all the negative things students say about
This
you?
question made me laugh when you guys sent this to me. To be really honest, I think part of it is my age. I don't even know most of the things students say about me, okay? I can imagine students, there's always going to be someone that really doesn't like a decision I've made or me. I don't take it personally. I think some of that came with just being a parent. Sometimes we have to make decisions that are best for people who are younger than us. And then I think what also feels good is down the line, like there are students who were in my classroom and they didn't care for my rules and felt maybe I was too strict. But when I run into them in the community now, they want to run up and tell me how their life is going and introduce me to their children. And as adults, like they see it and they know, like, I really do care about you guys a lot and think about you on a regular basis. So I feel like it just comes with the territory. I wouldn't say it's fun. I mean, everybody deep down kind of wants everyone else to like them, but it's okay. I would feel bad if I found out kids hated me for something that, if I was mean or doing horrible things, I would feel bad about that. But I know the decisions I'm making are actually for the well-being of everyone. So I don't worry about it too much. Yeah. How bad is it? Like, do kids really hate me?
It's like just typical stuff, you know.
Yeah, I can live with that.
Yeah, they just comes with being a teenager. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I made a comment a couple years ago, and a few people maybe didn't understand what I was saying. I was joking and said, "Are you supposed to like the school principal?" And I was saying that as a joke, like on some level, some of the things I have to do aren't going to be liked by teenagers. But I also know I can walk the halls and I can do lunch supervision, and lots of teenagers talk to me and want to tell me about their day. So I feel like I'm okay with most students. Yeah. I really promise I care about all of the students deeply. I think about you guys, maybe not like individually, but as a whole, what's best for our school. It's in my thoughts all the time.
Okay, so this is the part of the podcast where we run out of questions, but we still gotta fill in time.
Okay.
So this is the part where we come up with a random topic and talk about it. Starbucks. Yeah, what about Starbucks?
I like Starbucks.
You like Starbucks?
Yeah, I don't like to spend the money on Starbucks, but I do get gift cards and I definitely load them in my app and use them. Especially like the lady at the Starbucks down on 33 who's super cheerful. Have you guys run into her?
I don't.
Oh
go to
my.
I don't go to Starbucks either.
Oh my. Yeah, it's expensive. Again, gift cards, but she is so cheerful, and sometimes it's just worth it to go through and have her just be like, "Thank you for visiting us. It's so great to, see you," or whatever. And she's just happy all the time.
When I go to Starbucks, rarely. It's mainly when my mom drags me. I get the smallest size hot chocolate and the chocolate croissant.
Double chocolate. So you're not a coffee drinker?
No, my family is not a big fan of coffee, particularly my dad. He's like, no coffee, no
Interesting.
coffee, no tea. I mean, I understand it because, like people go crazy over coffee and,
Yeah.
it's like an essential to them. And every day they're going to spend nearly like $10 on coffee, and it eventually adds up, in this
Oh, yeah.
economy.
No,
This
I
economy,
make it
there's
at
no time.
home. It's a treat to get it. Actually, Miss Magnuson was headed out to run an errand for work, and she was like, "Hey, you want a coffee?" Well, yeah. So she's gonna have one back at my desk for me later because she's amazing. But I would say I drink coffee every day, and that came from the job. As a teacher, I don't know why. It's a teacher thing to do to have coffee together before school starts. And I started this this is year 29. I started it 29 years ago. My dad's a big coffee drinker, so I certainly saw that growing up. We have coffee together. That's just a nice time to spend together. But yeah, it gets a little ridiculous on what you can spend on coffee. At the end of the month, if you've spent a couple $100s, I mean, that's just sad. So
But you, Isaac, do you like coffee?
No, I'm surprised people order at McDonald's. People order coffee at 12.
yeah, I'm not too much of a midday coffee drinker. I like it in the morning. So you work at McDonald's?
Yes.
Do you like it?
Yeah, it's actually pretty fun.
I think, okay, I had 4 years at McDonald's back in 91 to 95. Loved it. Became a shift manager. My sister worked there too. We still have the best stories from McDonald's. And it was such great training for like how to interact with people and like maybe angry people sometimes.
It's mostly sometimes good people, and then out of nowhere, just a bad person
Yep.
comes in and like just ruins your day.
Isaac's McDonald's, one time I ordered on DoorDash and I ordered my large fries and my chicken McNuggets. And I had this little coupon because like whenever you order something from Macy's, they give you like a $20 off they give you $20 off of DoorDash,
Oh.
but you have to spend $20, and it's not actually 20. I think it was, and it's not actually $20 that they give you off. They give you like some weird discount, and you have to spend some weird amount of money, right? So so my order came out to like just $1 under the limit, and I was like, I need to get that deal. So I put some cookies there, and I promised my little cousin that I was gonna give her the cookies, and then when the order came, there was no cookies. So I was like, oh my gosh, there's no cookies. And then I never got those cookies back. I never got any cookies. I told Isaac, "Oh, your McDonald's needs to give me cookies." And,
Oh.
never
Most
got me
likely we
anything.
didn't have cookies.
well, yeah, but why didn't you guys refund me? You guys didn't send a message saying, "Hey, Zachy, we don't have cookies." They didn't do anything. They just took my cookie money and they never gave me any cookies. So I'm a little bit salty about that. And then another time, I ordered from that same McDonald's, and I ordered 2 large fries, and they only gave me 1 large fry. But that one, I got it. I dealt with that because I was not trying to get ripped off like that. One of the fries were for my sister, and I was not sharing my fries with her. So I called him up, and then I what do you call it? I sent a message on the app, and I was like, "Yo, bro, where's my large fries, right?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't have anything to do with that." So then I called him up, and then I'm like, my large fries aren't there, right? And then they sent a redelivery for free.
No way for
Yeah.
fries.
Yeah, for fries.
There's an app you can say like your order's wrong on the app. See, here's that age difference I was talking about. I'm pretty like savvy on my phone, but I didn't realize there was a McDonald's app.
I mean, there's DoorDash. That's what I ordered.
DoorDash app. Okay, got it. Got
Yeah.
it.
But then I had to call them, and then they ordered a redelivery. But the thing is, I ordered like in the app there's like a section, right, where you can get like a bundle, right? And I ordered the 2 large fries bundle, right? Which is like the price of 1 large fries times 2 because it's 2 of them, right? But they only gave me 1 large fry. So when they did the redelivery, they redelivered the bundle I bought. So they gave me an extra fry too.
So you really came out ahead.
Yeah, I came out ahead on that one. So I got 3 large fries for the price of 2 large fries and a headache.
It reminds me of the day at lunch when every time somebody put money in to get Takis, they were getting 2 bags at a time. So then there were people shoving each other out of the way for who could put the money in to get the 2 bags for one. So much excitement over a snack.
There's still I noticed that they changed the vending machines. It's just water now,
Mhm.
and they're not open until like 3. So do you know what's up with that?
I do actually. That's a really good question that maybe more students should know about. There are so many federal food rules for schools. So during the school day, if the cafeteria is open, we can't compete with the cafeteria and sell something that doesn't have to follow the food rules they're under. I don't know if that makes sense. So, like at 10 a.m., I can't be selling sugary coffee because the cafeteria has to follow these rules of only limiting, so much sugar that you're allowed in your day. So that's why sometimes your lunches are large and sometimes they're small. They have like the macronutrients that they have to follow, the guideline for that. And once they hit those limits, they're not supposed to give you, food beyond that. It kind of stems back. Sometimes it's blamed on Michelle Obama, which is just funny. When her husband was in office, she helped head up food initiatives for school cafeterias, and kids got really mad because we used to be able to sell all the sugar in the world. So I remember like in the early 2000s, we would have pop machines. I taught at Elkhart Central at the time. And we would have pop machines that we could spend the money on student activities. And in 1 year, we'd make $30,000 off of the soda machines and spend that on student activities and dances and things like that. Well, then when this initiative went through, which again was blamed on her, which really isn't fair, but anyway, it was blamed on her. All of a sudden, we couldn't sell sugary drinks to students during the day. You could have diet, which I've always questioned because I think some of the fake sugar is just as harmful as the real sugar, but it fell in the rules. So, for instance, with the cafe in the library, one of the reasons we don't have that open yet is we're trying to navigate how to pull that off. It was built maybe without really thinking through when are we going to sell things in there because we can't, number one, compete with the cafeteria on those food rules. And 2, students aren't necessarily going to want us to just sell plain coffee. They want the Starbucks or Dunkin' version, right? So there are those rules to get around, and we weren't selling the diet pop enough to not have it expire. So Coke or Pepsi, I think it's a Coke guy, comes in, and we were throwing away and losing money on soda because it technically had expired before anyone would buy it, because like people don't want to buy diet Fanta or whatever. And so it was better to just go to water, because we do at least sell the waters. But I know it's been disappointing to people who did buy some of those pops. Yeah,
So yeah, guys, it's your guys' fault that we don't have any.
it is.
But the Coke Zero, something's there was something with that Coke Zero. When I drank it, it would not end well, And I was like I don't know what they put in that. I don't know how they made it, but it was some crazy stuff in there. There was not compatible.
There are some interesting studies on sugar and sugar substitutes.
I think Diet Coke was a bit better, but Coke Zero. Why did they have Diet Coke and Coke Zero? It's the same. Aren't they the same thing?
They're not the same
No, they're not.
thing.
Well, like their brand is that they have zero sugar in both.
Correct. But now, former science teacher here, okay, we should read the ingredients, because they use different forms of fake sugar. And so there's a biological reason it affects you differently to have one versus the other. That's a very real thing.
But I feel like for Coke's marketing sake, they should keep one and like axe the other. I think they should keep Diet Coke because they got people hooked on Diet Coke. I remember in second grade, I had this teacher, and she had a fridge full of Diet Coke, and the only thing she drank is Diet Coke. And there's this YouTuber, and he runs this channel called Game Theory, right? And he sits here and he always talks about how he's addicted to Diet Coke. So there's like 2 out of the 8 billion population that are addicted to Diet Coke, but I've never heard
There's
anyone.
a theory that McDonald's Diet Coke is better and different than any other Diet Coke you can buy. There are a lot of moms who believe that and only buy Diet Coke from McDonald's.
Yep.
Have you heard this?
Yes. I have.
It's a thing. I don't know what it is about it, but
Is
it's
the
a
Diet
it's a
Coke different?
phenomenon.
I don't know. I don't drink Diet Coke.
Well, do you know? Do you not like? Do you look over them while they're like refilling the machine?
No.
So you don't know if the Diet Coke is actually different.
There's something about it. I have friends who will only drive through the McDonald's drive-through to get their large Diet Coke.
There's a lot of people that do that too.
Yeah.
It's just large Diet Coke and probably just a small fry.
Yeah.
That's it.
When I worked at McDonald's, it got to where even on the headset, you knew the voice of some people. They came through every single day at the same time every day, and you'd hear their voice and know their order, and you were ready to go.
The Burger King on US 33, right? Not to throw shade if this lady's listening,
Oh,
right?
no.
But there's this lady, and she always wears this pink hoodie, and she has a beef with my family, right? Because we'd order Burger King a lot, because we had Burger King money, why not get some Burger King, right? And whenever we'd come through, right, this time we weren't even going through a lot. Like we hadn't gone like 2 months, right? And we go through the drive-through, and we order our order or whatever, right? And then this lady, right, while she thinks we can't listen to her, right? She's like facing away, and she's yapping about some. She talks about why don't they cook food? Blah 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 blah. There's a Kroger's across the street. I mean, our order was kind of big, right? But like,
But that's what it's there for.
I don't understand the shit. Like, we're paying you, man. We're giving you money. It's not like we came in and demanded you to give us food. We gave you the economic goods. Without us, if no one bought food from your Burger King, right? Where would you be? You would be at McDonald's. You'd be somewhere else.
I'm a little impartial to McDonald's from working there, but I can't say I want to eat another chicken nugget ever again.
But like, yeah, so that's why my favorite is McDonald's now, I guess. But they're also expensive. Fast food has gone up. It's too expensive now.
Food is expensive.
Especially
know.
fast food. I remember like 2 summers ago, or like a few summers ago, when I went to Six Flags, right? I remember I got a large thing of Sprite from McDonald's, right? And it was $1, but they raised their prices now, right?
Yeah, it
Then
was $1
yeah,
before.
it was $1 for every size, but they started charging more for different sizes. So I don't know. They just keep charging more for stuff, you know. I don't get it. The money goes back to corporate anyways, right? The money doesn't like when you buy something from McDonald's, the like the food itself, the money for the food goes back to corporate, right? So why are they raising the prices so much? McDonald's corporate is rich, you know. They don't,
Well,
you
but you
know.
have to think about where's the food coming from? How much does it cost to ship and truck the food to the locations? If you've never been at a McDonald's when they bring in the food truck, you got to watch that process sometime. It's crazy. Um, and then, of course, like the beef patties come from cows. And so you have cattle farmers that who knows, it just that trickle down effect. I agree, though, the greed has gotten out of hand. But I also agree with that lady. We probably should be making our own food.
Probably should, yeah.
As I ate Burger King on my way to the basketball game last night.
Yeah, and we didn't even go in a while. She still remembered us. She started working. I know when she started working. She started working summer of my 7th grade. No, summer after 7th grade. So like 2021. She started working summer 2021.
So
And
you
I think
go there
she's
a lot.
yeah, and I think she's still there. I'm pretty sure. I don't know why she's still. I mean, I don't know why she's still at Burger King because like whenever I overhear her, she doesn't really like her job that much. Not to throw shade. I'm sorry if you're listening to this. If you're listening to this and you see me in real life, it was not me. It was my cousin named Derek. So go attack him.
There actually can be a career.
I mean, yeah, she could become like the manager.
No, for
eventually.
real. Like when I worked there were 3 individuals that had worked quite a long time there, and it's because they loved the hours, and McDonald's was good to them. They made the money they needed, and they had, like I said, the hours can be a big deal. As you get older, the job that you choose, sometimes the money isn't even the most important piece to it. It's something else about the job that appeals to you. Maybe the people you work with, the schedule you have, not working weekends. I enjoyed McDonald's and thought about going into management, like upper level management. But to be honest, working weekends or opening a store and the next day closing a store, when you do that and then you have one night of 4 hours of sleep or whatever, I ended up not really wanting that schedule for the rest of my life. But it can be a great place to be.
Yeah.
Well, luckily we don't have to close the store anymore. It's now 24/7.
Oh,
Oh,
okay. Well, there you go.
They reopened McDonald's 24/7.
Yeah,
That's good.
I think it was 2 years ago.
Be interesting to see that cleaning
But-
schedule.
But I think they need to reopen Walmart 24/7. Because most of the,
Nothing good happens in the middle of the night at Walmart.
I mean, yeah, but sometimes you have the midnight craving for some chips or
dear.
whatever, And now all of the checkout is like self checkout
I
anyways.
know.
So
Yes.
yeah, they replaced most of the checkout with self checkouts anyways. So they just need to like have some guys just stand there and hope they don't get robbed. They already had it open 24 hours before what do you call it, before COVID.
Yep.
And it was like with all the checkouts and with all the crazy Midwestern Walmart people, and like now, they like half their workplace, like it's just half of the things is automatic now. So why not open it 24/7? Why not have people in Walmart 24 hours
Safety
of this
first.
week?
Safety first.
Safety first, yeah. Just make sure everyone's safe. Mm.
I don't think
You don't want to open Walmart 24/7?
no.
No. Okay, sometimes it's the late hours of the night and you really need your Nutella fix, okay? And sometimes only Walmart can provide you that, Am I the only person in favor of opening Walmart 24 hours? 'Cause, like, they already did it once, So why not do it again? You know,
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea.
it's not a good idea. So what's the difference between McDonald's 24/7 and Walmart 24/7?
McDonald's 24/7 is fast food.
And you don't go in and sit in the lobby, I don't think, right? Is it drive-throughs 24 hours?
Drive through 24 hours.
Drive-through 24 hours. No idea. Drive-through. What? Oh, never mind. They already have pickup. I was gonna say drive-through Walmart's, but it's same thing. You know, pickup, drive-through. Close enough. Let's see what else. Is he locking the door? What are you doing? Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
Oh, so what was the new book that you're talking about?
Oh yeah.
The book that I like, or
Yeah.
the books I read. So I have one right now that I'm reading, written by Andrew Huberman, and then I also have another. I have a wide variety of things I read. I have another one that I'm enjoying right now called "The Body Keeps the Score." So any trauma that maybe you've been through, biologically impacts, it's stored in your cells. I have one on epigenetics that I really, I tend to read several things at the same time and kind of pick and choose, and don't really finish just one book. Just depends on the mood I'm in. Epigenetics is the study of past experiences of your ancestors and how it impacts your genes, because it affects gene expression. And so your DNA can be tightly wrapped in proteins that doesn't allow your DNA to express the phenotype from the genotype. So like the genotype of your eye color is the code for the eye color, but the phenotype is then the color. So if you have a gene for some kind of trait in your body, and all of a sudden this protein is suppressing it, it can cause things like autoimmune disorders, exhaustion, things like that. And so there's been studies done of populations of people who've experienced famine, for instance, and 2 generations later, they are finding a direct correlation to how it's impacting the relatives of those individuals, or relatives of people who were in concentration camps. I suspect we would be able to tie this to relatives of any horrific, globally impactful thing. It was easier to study families that had experienced widespread famine in their country, because those are well-documented experiences. And so the idea that studies have been done with rats, where they can use chemicals to unwrap that DNA and reverse and open up those proteins so that the DNA is able to express itself. Doctors, scientists are working on translating that to the human genome. Of course, we haven't heard how far they've gotten with that yet, and I would imagine that's because there will be medications that will be developed, and then you have patents on that, and then the companies make money off of pharmaceuticals and all of that. And then I have another one that's just total trash novel, and that is, I can't think of the name of it, but it is connected to the Twilight series, which is so cheesy, the series of the vampires and the wolves. But sometimes I just like to read easy stuff where I don't have to think about it. Just depends on my mood. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, are people like? I don't think. Are there people outside? I don't know. I guess that's all the time we have today. For now, today. Now on to announcements.
Welcome to the announcements. In the past show, the annual Hallelujah Chorus performance by the choir and orchestra department will happen on December 20th at 8 a.m. in the Commons. In other news, musical auditions and callbacks for Cinderella concluded, and the cast list was announced. Esports enthusiasts are invited to join Boys and Girls Club after school from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Mondays to Thursdays. If anyone is passionate about video games and interested in joining esports, they could visit the Boys and Girls Club of Elkhart County website to sign up. The Crimsonaires recently hosted a camp for elementary students from Goshen schools, teaching them a song and dance routine, which they later performed during the JV and varsity basketball games.
Now on to sports.
This past weekend, Goshen boys basketball lost to South Bend with a score of 58-45. Goshen was led in scoring by Ryan Eldridge and Levi Swatsky with 13 points, and Gage Worthman with 10 points. For girls basketball, the Lady Redhawks had an away game at Plymouth High School, with a close loss of 38-40. The Redhawks were led by Kyra Hill with 13 points. The record for the Lady Redhawks this season is now 4-4. Changing lanes, let's touch up on swimming. The Redhawks took home the gold in the Goshen relays. In other news, the GHS record for the fastest 50-yard freestyle swim was broken by Levi Moser with a time of 21.5 seconds. The previous record was set back in 1996, making it a 27-year-old record. Congratulations to Levi Moser and to all of our Redhawk athletes. Now, back to Ryan and Alex.
Guys, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit whatever buttons it prompts. Guys, you're distracted. Make sure to hit whatever buttons it wants you to hit. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button. If you're watching on Spotify, hit whatever button that's on Spotify. We're going to be on Apple Podcasts soon, hopefully. And yeah, so if you enjoyed that, again, hit whatever. Share this with someone. Yeah, so that's it. And we'll see you on the other side of reality. Bye.